What's up, you guys? Forrest here with the FoCo Flow Show. If you're new to the channel, we are a mountain bike focused channel here in the Charlottesville, Virginia area, highlighting all of the awesome trails and mountain bike related content that we can get into when I get out to ride by myself right now with the COVID-19 situation, but with friends and family whenever that's allowed again. Today we are talking about my bike, the original V1 Ibis Ripmo. I've done a few bike review videos recently, and I've got some great comments from you guys about what I'm comparing it to. What is my bike? What's the build kit? You know, what do I like about the Ripmo? What do I don't like? So I figured today we would do a quick video to focus on the Ripmo itself, talk about what that bike is really good at, what maybe it's not so good at, and then finish up with another quick check on the ride on the trails as we compare it to future videos and future reviews that I'll get an opportunity to do in the life of the channel. So if you've ever ridden the Ripmo V1 or if you have a V2 already, I'd love for you to comment below. Let me know what you think of either, or a bike that you think that might be out there that is better than the Ripmo. And right now, please stay safe, stay healthy, go ride safe, ride solo, and go find that flow.
Say anything. What's up, guys? It's Forrest here, and this is my Ibis Ripmo version 1. So I know most of you guys know the version 2 came out, but I've done a couple bike reviews lately and they've gone really well. You guys have watched them and commented below, and I've referenced my other bike, but you guys were curious what was the bike that I was riding and what to compare it to. So here she is. Got her at the end of 2018, so basically 2019, and have been riding it for about 13-14 months. Got it from Shenandoah Bicycle Company out in Harrisburg, Virginia, about an hour from Charlottesville. I'd read a lot about the Ibis Ripmo when it came out. It was the do-all, super capable, enduro, trail, all mountain, sort of blurs the lines there for a long travel 29er. So this bike, when I purchased it, was the NX build. It was supposed to be about $4,200, but working with Thomas there at Shenandoah Bicycle Company, swapped out some parts, moved some things around, and ended up basically doing sort of a custom build off that NX build. From there, I made a couple of other adjustments to get to the bike that you see here today. So as far as the suspension, we have the Fox Factory 36, so 160 millimeters of travel on the front. And then in the rear, we have the DPX2 that came stock with the 4 millimeter volume spacer. As far as the cranks and drivetrain, the cranks were originally the NX cranks, but I since updated them to Carbon XO 175 millimeter cranks. Instead of the Level T brakes, when I bought the bike, swapped them out for the XT quad port 4-piston brakes. Started out 180 and have since upgraded to the 203 millimeter XT Ice Tech rotors in the front and 180 in the back. Stock aluminum wheels with the Ibis hubs, but super sturdy. I've banged the snot out of these wheels. They got dings and nicks and a few bends in them, but they have held up true as day. And then, of course, the XT drivetrain I did specifically because as much as I don't mind the Eagle NX and GX drivetrain, I found them to be a little bit finicky in my older bikes. So I went with the 11x46 drivetrain with a good gear range and originally a 32 tooth regular front chain ring, and have since upgraded it to the oval 30 tooth, which made all the difference in the world for the steeper climbs that we have out here in the George Washington National Forest. Can't see it, but I'll show you a close-up of the wolf tooth dropper lever, highly recommended, and I opted for the 800 millimeter but adjustable down to 760 millimeters via the end caps Ibis carbon bars. I don't mind these bars. It's a little, I would prefer about a 20 millimeter rise. This is just a 10 millimeter rise, so they're a little bit closer to a flat bar than I would like, but they do a great job. They're super light. Tires came with the not proprietary, but sort of the ubiquitous DHF up front and aggressor in the back. I like the DHF, but I have beat the heck out of the aggressors that were on there, and have since swapped out to the Michelin Wild Enduros, the front and the rear specific, 2.4s in the front and the back. They're pretty knobby. I've enjoyed them so far, and they don't seem any smaller than the 2.5s on the Maxxis. And of course, to match the Kashima up front, we've got Kashima, the Fox Transfer dropper post I've had it for about a year, just a little bit after I got the bike. It's been great. I love the audible clank when it hits the top, so I know it's where it needs to be. And other things on the bike, you know, it came with a Cane Creek headset. That's been fine. I don't really know much about headsets anyways to begin with. And we've got a litter skin grips. I've gone through grips of all shapes and sizes. Some of them are okay. I prefer stickier, beefier grips that do a pretty good job. Mucky Nuts mud guard, and I don't think I'm forgetting anything else. The bike's been great. I've gone through a couple of spokes on rear wheels, and I've had to redo, you know, not redo, but service the shock at the 1 year mark. Other than that, she's been pretty worry-free. She's got some scrapes and some nicks. The only thing I did have, I took it to Windrock and sent it down pretty hard and noticed a crack right here in the rear chainstay. But Ibis was fantastic working with Thomas at SBC. They swapped it out in the matter of a week, maybe 10 days, and I was back riding again. So small thing, a little bit inconvenient, but if you know me, I've literally cracked every frame I've ever ridden. Not from crashing, but I ride hard. I take fun, bad, fun lines, and you know, I don't chalk that up to a bad thing about Ibis at all. I've got all mountain sire frame protectant and some glossy frame protectant on the side. Like I said, I kick rocks up all over the place, doing my best to protect the bike, but she's got her own nicks. The one thing that I didn't like when I first got the bike, the first 3 to 5 months that I was running it, in really fast chattery sections, I had noticed that the back, the rear shock would back up and harshly bottom out. Think about the rocks that you see on Lookout Mountain if you're familiar with the George Washington National Forest.
People coming.
And we got people coming.
So what I was saying as we were finishing up there and had to cut it short was that the rear shock would back up pretty harshly, especially on high-speed, chattery, repeated hits. And for a long time, I thought the only answer was swapping it out for the Fox Factory X2 rear shock, which is the other shock option there for the Ripmo. But talking again with the guys at Shenandoah Bicycle Company, they recommended maybe trying a larger volume spacer before doing anything else. So the last time I got the shock service, I went ahead and put in the 8mm volume spacer, and I'm happy to report that that took care of 99% of the issues that I was experiencing. It made the whole ramp up a little bit more progressive, a little bit harder to bottom out the shock, and that definitely changed the experience overall, which I am super happy to report. So overall, the bike is super capable. It's extremely nimble and poppy, but it's a full travel, long travel 29er. So it definitely isn't the best climbing bike compared to hardtailers and cross-country bikes, but it climbs efficiently enough for me, and it can handle anything that the George Washington National Forest can throw at it. I've had it to snowshoe a few times, which I have a few of the scratches on the bike to thank for, but it can do just about anything that you can throw at it. Hard to think of too much that I'm not happy with it, other than perhaps the overall price point at $5 grand. It was not a cheap bike, but you know, worth every penny when you get dialed in and get to do the things that you want it to do on all of the types of trails that I like to ride. And I forgot to mention earlier, the bike with the carbon bars, carbon cranks, full carbon frame, but aluminum rails weighs in just over 29 pounds. So super capable bike at a super light weight, which I've really enjoyed on those long climbs in the saddle. It's pretty nimble. The big wheels make it a little bit less nimble than a 650B bike, but that's not a knock on Ibis at all. Again, their service has been great. The bike has performed well overall, and the build kit that we've got has given me the opportunity to progress my riding as much as possible. So here we'll finish up with a rundown one of my favorite trails out in the George Washington National Forest. And if you have any experience with any of these bikes, this one or anything else comparable to it, would love to hear your comments in the comments below. And while you're out there riding solo, get out there and find that flow.
Yeah. Good. Pretty hot. Watch ahead though. Rock section coming up in a minute. Easier gear here.